Far beyond the stars that humans could see, in the darkest corners of the galaxy lived the Vraks. They were the greatest hunters of all. Strong, fast, and clever, the Vraks had hunted many species for centuries. They believed themselves to be the best predators in the universe. The Vraks loved the hunt. For them, life was a game of chasing and capturing prey. They hunted for food, for sport, and for honor. Whenever they found a new planet with creatures smaller and weaker than themselves, they saw it as an easy chance to prove their strength. One day, in a distant star system, a group of Vrak scouts discovered something unusual. They found signs of a strange species living on a small blue planet. This species was called humans. The scouts watched from their hidden ships. Humans seemed simple, fragile, and slow compared to the Vraks. They lived on a planet with water, trees, and animals. Nothing too dangerous. The scouts reported back to their leaders. Humans are small and weak. Their weapons are basic. They will be easy prey, one scout said proudly. The Vraks leader smiled. Then the hunt is decided. We will hunt humans next. Back on Earth, humans were unaware of the Watchers in space. People went about their daily lives, working, laughing, and dreaming. They had built great cities and sent ships to explore space. But most humans thought they were alone in the universe. On Earth, Captain Sarah Jones was preparing her small crew for a mission to a human colony on a distant moon. The colony was still new and needed supplies. Sarah was proud of her team. They were brave, smart, and ready for any challenge. Sarah looked at the stars through the window of her ship. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Space is big and unknown, she thought, but we are ready to explore it. Meanwhile, the Vraks fleet moved closer to Earth. They traveled through dark space, silent and deadly. Their ships were large and strong, built for hunting and fighting. The Vraks leaders planned carefully. They wanted the first attack to be quick and easy. They would capture some humans and show the rest that resistance was useless. As the Vraks reached the outer edge of the solar system, they found the human colony on Titan, one of Saturn's moons. The colony was small but well built. Humans had learned to live in space, building homes and farms inside large domes. It was peaceful, but vulnerable. The Vraks attacked without warning. Their ships surrounded the colony, shining bright lights that blinded the humans. They sent down hunting parties fast and fierce. The humans were caught by surprise. Many ran to hide, while some fought back with the weapons they had. Captain Sarah was on Titan, leading her team when the attack began. She shouted orders to protect the colony. "Hold your ground! Protect the people! Use every weapon!" The humans fired back, but the Vraks were strong. Their claws and armor were tough. They moved fast, like shadows in the dark. The hunters captured some humans, but the fight was harder than they expected. Sarah noticed something strange. The humans were not just running or hiding. They worked together, using traps and tools. Some used their knowledge of the terrain to confuse the Vraks. Others used technology to fight from a distance. The Vraks hunters were surprised. They had expected weak, scared prey. Instead, they found humans who were brave and clever. One young human named Alex showed great courage. He set up a trap using broken metal and wires. When a Vraks hunter chased him, the trap caught the hunter's leg, slowing it down. Alex and Sarah's team took advantage and pushed the hunter back. The Vraks leader, called Karath, watched from his ship. "This is not a simple hunt," he said with frustration. "Humans fight smart. They are not easy prey." But Karath did not want to admit defeat. "We will show them the power of the Vraks," he said. "We will return to Earth and finish the hunt." As the Vraks retreated from Titan, humans began to recover. They tended to their injured and repaired the damage. Captain Sarah stood on a hill, looking at the stars where the Vraks had disappeared. "We are not weak," she said quietly. "We will be ready." Back on the Vraks' homeworld, the leaders met to plan their next move. The hunt for humans was no longer just a game. It was a test of strength and will. The Vraks had thought humans would be easy prey. They were wrong. And so the great hunt was just beginning. After the surprise fight on Titan, the Vrax returned to their fleet. Their leader, Karath, was not happy. The humans had shown strength and courage that no other prey had. It made him angry and curious at the same time. "We must learn more about these humans," Karath said during a meeting with his commanders. "If they can fight like this with simple weapons, what will happen when they use all their technology?" The commanders nodded. They knew the humans were dangerous, but they believed the Vrax were stronger. "We will strike again," one said. "This time, we will make sure the humans cannot escape." Meanwhile, on Earth, news of the attack on Titan spread quickly. People were shocked but also proud of the colony's brave defense. Scientists and military leaders began to study the Vrax ships and weapons. They found pieces of Vrax technology left behind during the fight. Dr. Mei Chen, a scientist working for Earth's space defense program, studied the alien technology closely. She was fascinated by its design and power. "This technology is unlike anything we have seen before," she said. "If we can understand it, we can defend ourselves better." The world prepared for the worst. Governments worked together to build stronger defenses in space and on Earth. They sent messages to other human colonies, warning them of the Vrax threat. Captain Sarah Jones received orders to return to Earth with her crew. Her mission on Titan was over, but the war was only beginning. She felt a heavy responsibility. "We must protect our home," she told her team. "We can't let the Vrax think we are weak." As the Vrax prepared for their next attack, they decided to test humans in space near Earth itself. They chose a small, unprotected research station orbiting the planet. It was a place where humans watched the stars and studied space. The Vrax ships approached the station quietly. Their plan was to capture it without a fight. But humans had learned from Titan. The station's crew was ready. When the Vrax launched their first strike, humans fired back with laser turrets and defense drones. The battle was intense but shorter than on Titan. The humans used teamwork and quick thinking to defend the station. Lieutenant Mark Rivers was in charge of the station's defense. He directed his team calmly. "Keep firing on their ships. Use the drones to distract them." The Vrax hunters were frustrated. Their ships were strong, but humans were harder to defeat than they thought. They had underestimated human technology and spirit. During the fight, one Vrax ship was damaged and forced to land on the moon. The crew inside was badly hurt. Human rescue teams found the injured Vrax and took them prisoner. This was a shock to the Vrax leaders. They had never been captured before. They were hunters, not victims. Back on Earth, the captured Vrax became subjects of study. Dr. Mei Chen and her team learned from their technology and even their language. Slowly, humans began to understand more about the Vrax and their tactics. "Captain," Sarah met with the scientists. "Every piece of knowledge helps us," she said. "The more we learn, the stronger we become." But the Vrax prisoners warned humans not to get too confident. "Your fight has only begun," one said. "The Vrax will return, stronger and more prepared." The warning was true. Karath gathered his fleet and planned a larger invasion. He wanted to prove that the Vrax were the greatest hunters in the galaxy, but he also knew humans had surprised him. He had to be smarter. The humans on Earth worked hard to prepare. They built new weapons, trained pilots, and created defense systems. They knew the next attack could be worse. One evening, Captain Sarah stood outside her home looking at the stars. She thought about the coming battle. "We will face the Vrax," she said quietly, "and we will not give up." The stage was set for the next chapter of the fight between humans and the galactic predators. The Vrax thought humans were easy prey. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The Vrax fleet loomed closer to Earth. Their ships, dark and powerful, moved like shadows across the stars. Karath stood on the command deck of his flagship, watching the blue planet below. He was sure of one thing. This time the humans would fall. But he had not counted on human determination. On Earth, preparations were in full swing. Cities across the planet were on high alert. Scientists worked day and night, turning the captured Vrax technology into new weapons. Engineers built stronger space defenses. Pilots trained in simulators ready for the battle ahead. Captain Sarah Jones was back on Earth leading a new task force. Her team was a mix of experienced fighters and young recruits, all ready to defend their home. "This is our chance," she told her crew. "We know the enemy now. We can fight smarter." The first wave of the Vrax attack came fast. Their ships entered Earth's orbit, ready to strike military bases and cities. But humans had learned from the past. Defense satellites fired powerful laser beams, striking the Vrax ships before they could get close. In space, human pilots flew sleek fighters, weaving through the enemy ships. They used new tactics, flying in groups to confuse the Vrax. Lieutenant Mark Rivers led a squadron, shouting over the radio, "Stay tight! Watch each other's backs." The battle was fierce. The Vrax were strong, but humans had speed, skill, and teamwork on their side. They used the environment to their advantage. When fighting near the moon, human pilots used the dark craters for cover. Near Earth, they flew through dense asteroid fields to hide from Vrax sensors. On the ground, engineers improved the defense systems. They made special shields to protect cities from attacks. Scientists developed new weapons that could disrupt the Vrax's communication. Sarah and her team worked closely with scientists. They tested new gadgets and weapons every day. One of the new devices was a drone that could sneak behind enemy lines and gather information. It was small but fast, and it could send live pictures back to Earth. One day, the drone spotted a Vrax base hidden in an asteroid belt. The base was large and full of weapons. Sarah saw this as a chance to strike. "We have to destroy that base," she told her commanders. "If we stop their weapons, we can weaken their fleet." The human fleet prepared for the attack. It was dangerous, close to enemy territory, but they were ready. Pilots trained for weeks, studying every detail of the mission. When the day came, human ships moved like a shadow through space. They avoided enemy patrols and launched a surprise attack on the Vrax base. The battle was quick, but intense. Human lasers cut through the base's defenses. Explosions lit up the darkness of space. Inside the base, the Vrax were caught off guard. They fought bravely but were outnumbered. Many ships were destroyed, and the base was crippled. Karath was furious when he heard the news. "Humans are stronger than we thought," he growled, "but we are not done yet." He called his top commanders. "We must change our strategy. We cannot fight their way. We must be clever." The Vrax began to use new tactics. Instead of direct attacks, they started ambushes. They hid their ships and attacked from unexpected directions. They used the galaxy's darkness and storms to their advantage. Humans had to adapt quickly. They studied Vrax tactics and trained for surprise attacks. Pilots learned to expect the unexpected. They used stealth ships to find hidden enemies. Sarah led many missions, testing new strategies. Each time, humans learned more about their enemy. They grew stronger and more confident. On Earth, people watched the news of the battles with hope and pride. Children drew pictures of brave pilots and fighters. Soldiers and scientists worked together, united by one goal: to protect their planet. One evening, after a long day of training, Sarah sat on a hill overlooking a city. The sky was clear and stars shone bright. She thought about the fight ahead. "We are not just defending Earth," she said softly. "We are proving that humans will never give up." Her words carried across the planet, a promise that humanity was ready to face any challenge. The Vrax had thought humans would be easy prey, but humans had learned to fight, to think, and to survive, and the war was far from over. The war between humans and the Vrax grew fiercer with every passing day. Both sides had suffered losses, but neither would give up. Karath, the Vrax leader, realized that brute strength alone would not win this battle. The humans were clever and determined. He needed a new plan, one that would break the human spirit. Karath turned his attention to Mars, the red planet. It was close to Earth and held a small but important human base. The base was a research station, built inside a large underground cavern. It was well protected, but also vulnerable in some places. "This base will be our next target," Karath said to his commanders. "If we take Mars, Earth will lose a valuable ally. The humans will be weaker and their hope will fade." The Vrax prepared a large force for the attack. They used their best ships and fighters. but they also planned to use the planet itself to their advantage. Mars was a harsh place. Its surface was cold and dusty. The thin atmosphere made breathing difficult. But humans had learned to live there. They built domes and tunnels to protect themselves. Captain Sarah Jones was sent to Mars to lead the defense. She arrived with a team of soldiers, engineers, and scientists. They worked quickly to strengthen the base. Sarah knew that this battle would be crucial. As the Vrax fleet entered Mars's orbit, humans prepared for the fight. Defense turrets on the ground turned toward the enemy ships. Pilots flew in fast patrols, watching the skies. The Vrax launched their attack with speed and power. Their ships bombarded the surface, trying to destroy the defense systems. On the ground, Vrax hunters landed, ready to fight hand to hand. The battle on Mars was unlike any other. The red dust rose in clouds. Explosions shook the tunnels and domes. Humans and Vrax fought fiercely in narrow corridors and open plains. Sarah led her soldiers with courage. She used every tool and trick they had. She ordered teams to set traps in the tunnels and hide in caves. The humans knew the planet better than the Vrax. They used this to their advantage. One night, Sarah and her team set a trap for a group of Vrax hunters. They used the planet's unstable soil to cause a small landslide, trapping the hunters inside a canyon. "We're not just fighting them," Sarah said to her team. "We're using Mars itself as a weapon." Despite the humans' cleverness, the Vrax were tough and dangerous. They fought back with brutal strength. But every time the Vrax advanced, humans found new ways to slow them down. Deep inside the base, scientists worked on a secret weapon, a device that could send powerful pulses of energy through the ground. It was designed to disrupt the Vrax's armor and weapons. When the device was ready, Sarah ordered it activated during a key battle. The ground trembled, and energy pulses spread through the tunnels. The Vrax hunters' armor crackled and failed. Many of them were forced to retreat. The humans cheered, but Sarah knew the fight was not over. The Vrax would come back stronger. Karath watched the battle from space. He was angry but also impressed. "These humans are more than just prey," he said. "They are a true challenge." The battle for Mars became a turning point in the war. It showed that humans could fight on their own terms. They used intelligence, teamwork, and the environment to defeat a stronger enemy. Back on Earth, the news of the victory gave hope to everyone. People celebrated the bravery of the soldiers on Mars. They felt proud to be part of a species that refused to give up. Sarah returned to Earth a hero, but she stayed focused. "This is just the beginning," she told her team. "The Vrax will not stop. Neither will we." The war continued, but the balance had shifted. Humans were no longer easy prey. They were becoming hunters in their own right, and the galaxy was watching. The battle for Mars was a wake-up call for humanity. The Vrax had proven to be fierce enemies, but humans had proven they could fight back. However, the war was far from over. The Vrax were strong and cunning, and they would not give up easily. On Earth, tensions rose. Different countries and groups had long histories of disagreement and conflict. But the threat from the Vrax forced them to put aside their differences. Leaders from around the world met in a great hall, a place built to host the most important meetings in human history. President Elena Ramirez stood at the podium. Her voice was firm and clear. "Today, we face a danger unlike any before. The Vrax have attacked our colonies and our people. But if we stand together, united, we will protect our home and our future." The room filled with applause. For once, humanity was united by a single goal. Sarah Jones was there too. She looked around the room and felt hope. "This is our moment," she thought. "We must show the galaxy what humans can do when we stand together." The new alliance was called the United Earth Defense Coalition, UEDC. It brought together the best minds, soldiers, and resources from all nations. Scientists worked side by side, sharing knowledge. Engineers built new ships and weapons faster than ever before. The UEDC created a fleet of powerful warships, designed to fight the Vrax in space and on planets. They trained thousands of pilots, teaching them the new, tactics that had worked on Mars. But the most important change was in the people. Humans learned to trust each other, to fight as one. The old rivalries faded, replaced by a fierce determination to survive. Meanwhile, the Vraks were watching. Karath knew the humans had changed. They were stronger and more united than before. But he was not afraid. "We are the hunters," he said. "We will find a way to win." The Vraks began using spies and secret agents to learn about the UEDC. They planned attacks on supply ships and communication stations, hoping to weaken human forces. One day, a Vrak spy was caught on Earth. She was disguised as a human, but revealed her true form when she attacked a research lab. The humans captured her and learned valuable information about the Vraks' plans. Sarah led the team that interrogated the spy. She was calm, but firm. "Tell us everything you know," she said. The spy, named Zira, was proud and stubborn but knew she had lost. She spoke of the Vraks fleet gathering near a distant star system, preparing for a massive attack. The news was urgent. The UEDC prepared for war like never before. Sarah and her team were sent to lead the first strike against the Vraks fleet. Their mission was dangerous, deep in space, far from Earth. But they knew the future of humanity depended on it. The human fleet moved quickly and quietly. They used new stealth technology to avoid detection. Pilots flew with skill and courage, ready for battle. When they reached the Vraks fleet, the fight was brutal. The Vraks attacked with fury, but humans were ready. They used every weapon and tactic they had learned. Sarah's ship was in the heart of the battle. She directed her pilots with clear commands. "Focus on their command ships, break their formation." The battle lasted for hours. Ships exploded and stars lit up with fire. Humans lost many good pilots, but they also damaged the Vraks fleet. In the end, the humans forced the Vraks to retreat. It was a great victory, but not the final one. Back on Earth, people celebrated the news. They knew the fight was still ahead, but they also knew they were no longer alone. Sarah looked at the stars, feeling the weight of the coming battles. "We fight not just for ourselves," she said. "We fight for every life on Earth and beyond." The Vraks had thought humans were easy prey, but now they faced a united enemy, a force stronger than any they had ever known, and humanity was ready to win. The galaxy held its breath. After months of fierce fighting, the final battle between humans and the Vraks was about to begin near a distant glowing star system. This was where the fate of Earth, and possibly the entire galaxy, would be decided. "Captain," Sarah Jones stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Valiant. Around her, the United Earth Defense Coalition fleet prepared for the biggest fight in human history. Ships of every size and shape glinted in the star's light, their weapons charged and ready. Sarah's heart beat steadily. She had seen many battles, but this was different. This was the moment when humans would prove to the galaxy that they were not weak prey but fierce predators themselves. The Vraks fleet appeared on the sensors like a shadow, dark and massive. Karath's flagship led the charge, his eyes burning with anger and determination. He had underestimated humans for too long. Now he wanted to crush their spirit once and for all. The battle began with a roar of energy. Laser beams crossed the void. Explosions blossomed like deadly flowers in space. The two fleets clashed in a deadly dance of fire and steel. Humans fought with everything they had. Pilots used every trick, every new weapon developed from the captured Vraks technology. They moved swiftly, working as a team, attacking the enemy's weak points. Sarah directed the battle like a skilled conductor. "Focus on the Vraks command ships," she ordered. "Don't let them regroup." The Vraks fought fiercely. Their claws and armor were strong, their tactics deadly. But the humans were relentless. They had learned from every battle, growing stronger and smarter. In the thick of battle, Sarah's ship came under heavy fire. Alarms blared, and the crew worked quickly to keep the Valiant alive. Sarah stayed calm. "We can't fall now," she said. "Hold the line." Nearby, Lieutenant Mark Rivers led a squadron of fighters in a daring attack. They broke through the Vraks' defenses and targeted Karath's flagship. The enemy ship shook under the assault. Karath's rage turned to fear as his ship was damaged. He realized the humans were no longer prey, they were hunters. In a final move, Sarah ordered a risky but brilliant plan. Human ships worked together to surround the Vrax fleet, cutting off their escape. Using a new energy net weapon, they trapped many Vrax ships. One by one, the Vrax began to surrender or flee. The battle ended with a decisive human victory. After the fight, the galaxy was stunned. Humans had defeated the greatest hunters in the stars. The story of Earth's defenders spread quickly, inspiring other species who had lived in fear of the Vrax. Sarah and her crew returned home as heroes. On Earth, celebrations filled the streets. People cheered for the brave pilots and soldiers who had saved their world. But Sarah knew the real victory was not just winning the battle. It was the proof that humans could survive, adapt, and conquer. They had become predators in their own right. The Vrax were forced to retreat into the dark edges of the galaxy, their reputation broken. They learned to respect humans and to fear them. Humanity looked to the stars with new confidence. They had protected their home and earned their place among the great powers of the galaxy, and the hunt was over.